Do you know what time it is? Welcome to the Legacy of Nerd. My name is Daniel, and today I am joined here with the Countdown City Geeks, Retro Ray.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be back. Talk about Power Rangers.
Yes, and today we are talking about the first issue of the highly anticipated comic book series, Power Rangers, or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Return, written by Amy Jo Johnson and her boyfriend, Matt Hodson. So this review is going to be full-on spoilers, guys. We're going to show you images that you may not want to see if you've not read the comic book yet. So you do not want to be spoiled. This is probably where you might want to come back later, but we are going to go full spoilers. And okay, all right. So we're going to do a quick recap of the comic, and then we're going to go more into detail and kind of delve into what we think is going on. So we started at the beginning of the comic where I didn't even think we would start here because I thought we would start where the Prelude from the 30th anniversary. Nah, we're expected to know that stuff. So we are starting. It is Kimberly has explained it's been 22 years since the Power Rangers defeated Lord Zed and Reed Repulsa. They destroyed them on the moon. Immediately cut to present day. And present day, we are seeing the renegade Red Ranger, Jason himself, in his full new getup, and he is battling someone, and he loses. They take his power coin. That's it. We cut to another scene now. It's back in Angel Grove, and we see that Billy and Zach are on stage, and it looks like they're dedicating the youth center, and is now called the Trini Kwan Memorial Park and Youth Center. So they're having a big thing going on. They're talking about how Trini was the mayor for several years. She was part of the United Nations. We learned that obviously Billy's very successful, and Zach is a celebrity. He is publicly known as the Black Power Ranger. So he's there. The crowd is going wild because they see a celebrity on screen. But we also see in the crowd, we see Ernie, which a lot of us know. The actor passed away a long time ago. And then we also see an adult Bulk and Skull, and they look very bulky and scully. So they don't look like much different, except they're in a little bit nicer clothes now. We kind of cut a little bit, and then we see Kimberly for the first time, and she's very much a loner. She's keeping to herself. She has a memory about herself and Trini, and she just like, I miss her. We see her next at a cemetery, and Zach is talking to her, and Zach is saying like, I miss you. And she's like, don't call me Kimberly. I'm Emma Phillips now. And but Zach is like, hey, come hang out with us. And she's like, all right. Like after some time, she was kind of like, okay. And then they are walking away from the gravesite that she was walking away from. And we see a very big reveal, and it says Tommy Oliver, 1979 to 2001. His spirit lives on. They cut to the next scene. They're in the diner. They're talking. It's Billy, Zach, and Kimberly. They're talking. They look like they're having fun with one another. And then we find out that Billy has been using the power coin that's connected to the morphing grid to try to advance science and learn about teleportation. We learn that he is trying to make a safe way to teleport to help the world, including maybe teleporting disease cells out of a body. And we finally get the indication of how Trini has passed away, and it looks like from sickness, more natural causes than what we've seen before in Once and Always. But Kimberly's not happy because they're using the power coins, and that's connected to the morphing grid, and they promised that they wouldn't do that. Zach, being a celebrity, he said he is using clean energy and throwing his big Black Ranger paloozas, and she's like, "You're not. We said we wouldn't do that." And then we find out that the real reason they wanted to talk to Kimberly was that Jason has been having issues. Looks like he did become a firefighter, but a couple of years into it, he had a bad tragedy, and a lot of people died in a fire. And he changed his way of thinking, and he started using his Red Ranger power, which again they promised not to do. And eventually he was like consumed with the idea of always helping and saving people, that he was literally telling them never to use their power coin so he could hog all the power. But it looks like he was on a mission to find out. Looks like somebody was tapping into the morphing grid that was not a ranger, and they lost track of him. And now they're asking for Kimberly for help. The big thing here, they said, obviously Kimberly is like, nah, I'm done. Like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want to be a ranger anymore. None of us should be Power Rangers. We find out that it looks like the real reason they really need her is they need the pterodactyl Zord, because it's the only Zord left. That's what it says, according to that. She's talking to someone. She says, I miss you on the phone. She's like, I'm gonna get on the airplane and go, because she takes off from the tomb and she's like, I'm done with you guys. Then we cut to her in Canada. Go figure. And she is visited by the door by someone that looks exactly like Trini, but we find out it is actually, I guess, a distant relative, like a cousin of her mother's, named Selena, and she is saying she's going to be the next Power Ranger, and she's holding up Trini's morpher. I know that was really winded. Sorry, guys, but I want to get the recap. But Ray, what did you think of the comic book?
I like the story arc. I kind of like it because it makes it seem like, okay, they're basically saying, we're jumping after there is no Ninja Zords, there's no, what do you call it? It's basically right after that series. That's it.
No
Um,
White
I-
Ranger.
no White Ranger, just Green Ranger. I like that premise of it because, mind you, I mean, yeah, we got used to all the shows, whatever, but I like this story arc because it gives you kind of more of a backstory, of course, since we no longer have, JDF with us, and it shows, that he passed away. I wonder if there's more behind it. Of course, we're gonna find more out down the line. Part of me, of course, we want to know is because everybody wanted JDF and Kimberly to be together, not Catherine and
Yeah, that's a big
Kimberly.
that's a big point here, is that Kimberly and Tommy ended up getting married. We found that in the Prelude.
Yeah,
Basically the story was set up in the 30th anniversary of Prelude, that, what if the team never broke up when the three went to the peace conference, and
yeah,
they just said, we'll teleport when you need us. Just let us know. Because that's totally practical, right?
yeah.
They have the technology already. So, and then we find out Kimberly married Tommy instead of Catherine, because they did that. But Rita and Zed still got together, but they destroyed the command center and killed Zordon and Alpha. And that's how they get to their time in 2001, where they go to the moon and they destroy Rita and Zed. So that's stuff that we didn't even get in the comics. So if you didn't read the Prelude, you're kind of missing a lot of
Oh
exposition
yeah.
here for sure. What do you think about this little secret in the Dark Villain here? What's going on with that?
I don't know because it's basically mentioning about someone from their past. Now,
Yeah,
mind you, there was a number of villains that throughout the show that we've come across. So it's kind of wondering, okay, who is it? Somebody from the past, from one of the villains that they dealt with in the past? Who could it be? I mean, leaves you. I mean, you can see red eyes or whatever, but doesn't
yeah.
really tell you who it is.
Can't see
Um,
really feminine or male. Don't have really any
yeah,
of that
you
either.
can't really tell. But overall, the artwork is great. I mean, it's perfect for everything that that's on it.
Mhm.
Um, the variant covers, dude. I love the variant covers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there's a
That
lot of different variant covers for sure.
yeah, it was kind of hard to choose which one to get with. You have like Mora's cover, you
Yep.
have, the cover that you're using as a background.
Yep.
This
Mm.
artist, his stuff is
There's this one
crazy.
as well. Yep.
Yeah, that's a Dan Mora's cover.
Okay.
But but the cover that you're using for the artwork in the background, dude, his artwork's been on um Echo, freaking Dexter. I mean,
Really? I didn't know Dexter. That's
yeah,
crazy.
he's done so much, and he uses water paint and all that. But anyway, getting back to the story, um, it was just hard to pick the variant covers, man. Just which one to
Yeah.
get. But if you
I
haven't read this, you're definitely gonna want to pick a copy up. Other than what we showed you, yeah, we did give you a quick summary, but you're gonna want to see the art pages. I mean, the pages that the fire scenes, the
Yeah.
everything. It's so much to take in. On top of the reading, on top of the pages, splash pages. Yeah, you're gonna want to get a copy.
Yeah, these splash pages are really good. And one thing that was interesting is we saw some early character designs of what the Rangers would look like, or the surviving
Mhm.
Rangers, and they look a little bit different than what we've seen in the character designs, because the Zach that I'm seeing here in the comic looks more like Walter Jones does now
Yeah.
than what we saw in the character design. So that's a little interesting to think too. I really like that Zach is a celebrity in all this. It's almost kind of like I don't know, like social media star status. Like
Yeah.
he has a lot going on. Um, Another thing that I really enjoyed about this was like the memory of Kimberly and Trini, because that looks like stripped out of the show back in the 90s. I know.
Yeah. It has a 1994 on the bottom and everything. That it just
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right. That it does say 1994 on the bottom. But yeah, I mean, obviously we knew that coming in that Tommy was probably going to not be a big part of the story. There have been a lot of hints that he passed away in this universe, but especially with there being we knew that there's going to be Olivia Hart joining as the new Green Ranger coming into this story. We kind of figured that Tommy wouldn't be a big part of this. A lot of this is just kind of crazy, because like literally like when they say like the pterodactyl Zord is gone, like, or that's the only Zord left. And so like that's a big issue right there, right off the bat, which kind of makes sense because I think Jason would have used his Tyrannosaurus Zord a lot
Yeah.
more if he was definitely going renegade on that. Whatever happened on the moon messed them up. It seems like it
Yeah.
really messed them up, and I think we're gonna find that more in issue 2. And also like the story of Jason, and we kind of don't even know if he's alive at this point. What did you think about the firefighter aspect of that?
I saw it kind of like they took from, the Netflix series
Rocky.
Rocky Story.
Yep.
Yeah, they took from Rocky Story. A firefighter, basically the PTSD of saving
Uh,
people.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like the whole Superman preference. If he had the power, he could have saved those people and it wouldn't have. So that's why I think he went back to that, because being human, you could only do so much. So I think that's why he went back to the using his Red Ranger powers, because it
Good
gives you
point.
more power to save people. And that's pretty much what he wanted to do. And I think that's what it is. But at the same time, on the very last page, when you had mentioned that, when Kimberly says, "Oh, did you forget your key?" I'm wondering if she was talking about Olivia forgetting her key. That's why she was at the door. So that popped in my head when I was reading that too, and I was like, "Oh, they're probably talking about Olivia when she's at the door."
Yeah, and I'm even wondering if they know anything about Olivia at this point. Like it doesn't track that they might, because they didn't bring her up.
Yeah.
So one thing I think you would talk about is like how's your daughter doing? So that it may
Yes.
be very possible that they don't. But there's
Yeah.
one thing that we see and that I forgot to mention is that we have a little panel where someone is watching Kimberly walk away or get into the cab and go to the airport, and there's like a hand there, and then the hand turns into a clench fist. Now, do you think that was Selena, Olivia, or maybe the villain? What do you think about that?
I think it's a villain because
The villain? Okay.
yeah, because
Black was a black kind of fist too.
yeah, but at the same time, when she mentions that, that makes you say, okay, Livio is back in Canada.
True. Good
You
point.
know what I mean? And I think, this is just my opinion. This is just me thinking outside the box of what I'm thinking they're gonna go with. I'm thinking whatever happened at the moon, Kimberly was probably pregnant by that point, and then once they've separated and she was in Canada, that's when she ended up having. You know what I
You're
mean?
you're probably not far off. Is that your predictions? What are your
That
predictions for issue 2?
so she's gonna have to face the fact that she knows who she is, try to find out. Okay, well, how did you end up with the morpher? You know what
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean?
good point. How did she end up with the morpher?
Yeah,
Unless it looks like Trini passed away recently, so maybe Trini had
passed it on.
give passed it on already. Like this is what to do just in case,
Yeah,
which is a possibility as well. I think the next book you're gonna have to bring in Olivia and explain that right away,
yeah,
and you're gonna have to start getting on with Selena, and you're gonna have to start going on what happened at the moon because this is
yeah,
a 4 issue series. There's only
yeah,
4 books in the series, and there's not a lot of time to cram all that stuff together. But I think this was a really good start to the series. I'm sort of glad that it didn't have the prelude as part of it because that would have wasted pages and that would have
yeah,
wasted some story. At the other hand, I do can see the issue of new readers that didn't read the prelude reading this and being like, "What's going on? Where are the Ninja Zords? Where's the Zeo team and stuff like that?" You know what I mean? So
yeah,
if he died in 2001, that would have been Time Force era. So that's an issue as well. So I'm glad that we kind of started off where it is. My only issue is that for new readers coming into that, they're not going to know the prelude. So hopefully they I think they've released the prelude like in sections, but I would hope that they could say like, here's the digital copy of the prelude. Everybody read it. And that way you're caught up with what's going on. But like issue 2 should be coming out in March. We'll be covering that as well. But that's all I have today. Retro Ray, any last words?
yes. So I want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Dragons Lair Alamo Ranch. Without them, we can't give the comic reviews that we're doing on Countdown here on Legacy. So check us out. We have the comic reviews, that stuff that we're reviewing, like Transformers, GI Joe, Godzilla. Which this isn't the only Power Ranger comic we're going to review. We're also going to be doing the Godzilla versus Power Rangers one as well. Catch us on that one too.
Awesome. And then, guys, remember the NostalgiaCon here in San Antonio is coming up here in May 10th through 12th. It's going to be at the Henry B. Gonzales Center. Me, the Legacy and Nerd with the Countdown City Geeks, were influential in helping getting Walter Jones here to San Antonio. But we're also going to have our own section, Tracy, Lynn, Cruz, and we're going to have Phillip Andrew, the Lunar Wolf Ranger from Power Rangers Wild Force. We'll be there. We'll be hanging out. We'll be doing panels as well. All right, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did you pick up the comic? What did you think of the comic? Was there anything that you wanted to see that didn't happen? What did you like about it? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and y'all know what time it is. It's Morphin time.